Welcome to Kent Boughton Outdoors. We're still talking about the Texas-Nebraska hunt, wrapping up our 47th year. It all started in memory of Don Bomber Hancock. His memory remains with us in the field, and through the course of time, as you can imagine, we've lost several others of our hunting party. That includes my dad, Floyd Boughton. Ken Andrews. Bob Rice, and Bubba Hughes. Bubba was RP's brother-in-law. Ken, a good friend, of course, my dad, Bob Rice, another one of our compatriots. We have done a lot of different hunts throughout the years, including goose hunting, duck hunting, deer hunting, and of course, the ever-present pheasant hunting. In those lean years, when the pheasant population was down a bit, we went into the goose blind. Now that's part of the tradition. In those early years, we would go to small town diners, but they could be as far as 30 miles away to have our lunch, and it could waste 2 hours that we could spend out in the field hunting. So we started preparing sandwiches, or let's say I started carrying a chuck wagon and making sandwiches out in the field, kind of to expedite and allow us a little more time for that pheasant hunt. It's something, as the organizer of a lot of this hunting, I have done now for over 40 years, and it's always fun as well. Another thing we did early on was keep track of all our hunts on calendars. They go back into the early 80s, and we would add up all the totals each week. Who shot what? Who was the king, as it were, for the week as far as the total number of pheasants taken? We'd always stay within the limits, and a lot of the birds, we would write up the tags or the slips, and they would go back home with the Texans, and then they would be eaten as part of the big feast at Henry's hideout. Billy managed Henry's for his Uncle Henry. Henry's hideout began in 1937. Another thing we did on those hunts, besides the video of everyone enjoying the pheasants at Henry's hideout, we had videotape of a lot of our hunts, and some of those are quite memorable too. Of course, not as much gray in the beard or the hair back then, and we would pound the fields. The hunts always started on Monday and ran through Friday. Texans would come up on Sunday, and then we'd start our week, and we hunted hard. We'd hunt hard all day until legal shooting time was over. Then we partied most of the night, getting up the next day. So you could say we worked hard and we played hard. And then the Texans always, at the end of our hunt each week, would take us out to dinner, usually some good Nebraska steaks, and that tradition continues as well. Well, the hunt continues next year. As we look at all the hunting we've done through the years, we're to a point now where the habitat is not there. The Conservation Reserve Program, not what it once was in Nebraska. So those acres, those habitat acres, are just not out there for pheasants. The predators have really climbed. Coyotes, possum, and of course raccoons and fox. They have decimated, or really helped decimated, the population of pheasants in the state. So now we have gone to controlled shooting areas. Controlled shooting areas can be found anywhere where you live in Nebraska, or at least near where you live. The prices vary on the birds that you hunt, and the season runs from September to April. in Nebraska. There's no limit. You decide how many birds you want the controlled shoot area to put out. And of course, the price is determined by that controlled shoot operator. It's a fun way to go about things as well. At least you'll come home with some pheasants to cook up, and it's not like shooting ducks in a barrel. It can be a tough situation trying to hit those birds. They cackle, they fly good, they can be missed just like a wild pheasant. And it's just a great way to work your dogs, work yourself, and still enjoy the camaraderie of everyone you're hunting with. And you line up a lot of conversation out in the field. So you might want to consider checking out controlled shooting areas in Nebraska. You can Google and get a list and then find out what your price range is and how you want to go about doing that. It's not cheating, but it's very difficult to find spots in Nebraska anymore where there's a good population of pheasants. They're almost like an endangered species, unfortunately. Maybe bird flu got a few of those birds as well. Our turkey population is down. The deer population is down. So we hope for better things in the future, and we hope that you have a safe, memorable trip out in the field as well. So maybe controlled shooting is an option for you when it comes to pheasant hunting. Remember, take a young person hunting or fishing, and don't forget us older folks either.